For a one-step buttonhole machine, you'll have a foot a lot like this. You use the back of the foot to pop your chosen button into. You then attach it to the machine by removing the other presser foot, popping your buttonhole foot into place. I always tend to bring my needle thread down underneath the presser foot, just stops tangles. And then what you also do is there is a small lever that needs to come down and sit just behind that section. As the foot moves backwards and forwards, that is what will show your machine how big to make your buttonhole. You then choose your buttonhole setting, position up your first buttonhole underneath the presser foot, remove the pin, so you want the pin to be right underneath where the needle is first going to land, and then you simply press your treadle, watching your buttonhole being created. With your presser foot clipped into place, pull the presser foot all the way forward, have a little check with your button just how long you're going to need your buttonhole to be. Now you would normally go one division longer than the button you're putting in. So if my little button is 2 divisions there, I'm going to make a buttonhole that's 3 little divisions long. So that's 1.5 centimetres long. These are all 0.5 centimetres. So having decided that, I'm going to place my piece of fabric underneath. Now we're starting from the top edge of the buttonhole. Unlike the one-step buttonhole, you start from the top edge as opposed to the bottom edge. The first setting I'm going to choose is setting number 1, and I have my stitch length very short, about a 0.5. I sew down one side of my buttonhole all the time, watching these little divisions until I get to that 1.5. I'm then going to choose setting number 2, going across the bottom of my buttonhole, just 7 or 8 stitches there. I then choose stitch number 3 to go back up the other side of my buttonhole. When I reach the top there, I then go back to setting 2 and 4 and sew across the top of my buttonhole. And what I always do to make them a little bit stronger is I go back to setting number 1 and just do a couple of stitches back down the other side just to secure the top of that buttonhole. So that has now created our buttonhole using the 4-step buttonhole method. With my last buttonhole done, I am going to open all of those buttonholes. You can use your seam ripper to do this. You push the seam ripper into one end of the buttonhole, push forward ever so gently, and then bring the seam ripper out of the other end of the buttonhole just before you push all the way through. Now, by bringing the seam ripper back out again at the end of the buttonhole, it means you don't actually go through the end of your buttonhole, which at this point in the process would really be a pain.